This is Kristin Brindley with Nova Real Producers. I'm here with the wonderful Paul Thistle. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
He is our August cover story. If you haven't read it, you definitely should check it out. Paul's been in the business for over a decade, and did 46 million basically on his own this past year. $46 million in business. That's saying something. He has his own company, and he also, in a previous life, opened for Dave Matthews Band and other amazing bands, and I find that to be really cool personally. And Paul, thanks for being with us. Why real estate? You could obviously do many things. Like, why real estate for you?
Well, I was always fascinated with sales as a young kid. If there was ever a sales opportunity through my high school or middle school, I used to just jump on that, run out and try to sell whatever it is my school needed me to sell so that I could win the top prize. Back in the day, it was $100 gift card or a black and white television or something along those lines. So that was important to me. I like the sales aspect. I like going out, talking to people, making sure that they understood what I was doing and wanted to help me and support me in that way. I never really wanted to be trapped behind a desk. So, being in real estate, you're anywhere at any given moment, right? You're out talking to clients, you're showing houses, you're writing contracts. So it's an opportunity to not be stuck behind a desk like I am right now.
No, it's great. Well, and you do so many different aspects. Like, you take gorgeous pictures. You take care of your clients in a variety of ways. Like, it's pretty interesting and also great. So can you tell me what's been, most rewarding or what's been most challenging?
Sure. So I would say the most rewarding part about working in real estate is working with that first-time home buyer or that move-up buyer that is just so fired up to find the perfect house. And you can tell when they light up and they finally win that contract. Now, it's been tough this year. There's been very little inventory. So when you take them through homes and you're at the 5th or the 6th contract and they finally win that property and you get them through the entire process and they're just all lit up at closing and maybe some tears and we're taking pictures. I mean, that to me is probably the most rewarding part of this job. Is just making sure that your buyers or your sellers, they feel that they've come the distance, they've crossed the finish line, and they're just thrilled with everything about their home or their sale, and they're happy enough to write a review about you. So that's super rewarding.
And you have a lot of reviews. What's been a lot of positive reviews? What's been most challenging?
Oh gosh, I would say. Oh gosh, I'm not sure. The most challenging part, I would say, is time management and learning to say the word no. I think early on when I got started back in the late 2000s, I wanted to do as much for everyone as I possibly could. And I found myself just ending up in places where I didn't want to be and wasting some time doing things that maybe weren't as productive. So I think using the word no more often in my vocabulary or finding different ways to make challenges work for everyone involved is probably my biggest obstacle that I've had to overcome, right? We all want to say yes to as many people as we can and in as many ways as we can. But learning your limitations so that you're not overreaching and you're not overpromising, I think is really important.
I think that's beautiful, and it's a great lesson for many people. And whenever you say, yes to something, you're saying no to something else, and
right.
Learning to say no. I think that's fantastic. Any awards or things in the background you want to talk about?
Not really. I've been working for myself for so long, for at least 2 decades. I don't have a company that, says I'm the top salesperson. That's my wife. She says, hey, you did a great job. And, whatever, that's awesome. But this right here, this is probably the biggest award I've ever received. Cover of a magazine. As soon as I got this, I started running towards my house and my kids were like, no way it came. So for this is like the biggest reward for me. This was super cool to be recognized and honored by your company. Super cool. Thank you.
Thank you. And you were nominated by, your fellow real estate community too. So it's, Thank you very much. Define success for us.
Okay. Well, success, for me anyway, is peace of mind, knowing that at the end of the day, I did the best that I possibly could, made every effort to, to make somebody's life better, whether that's in business or my family. Success in many different ways to me is really just being surrounded by family, people who love you, who care for you, making sure that your community is lifted up. All of these things, I think, define success. It has really nothing to do with sales volume, how many properties you sell, or what your bank account says at the end of the day, because that comes and goes with life. So that's
Being,
it.
I love it. Being a great human. I noticed you give a nice amount to charity, and you offer to give back with your clients and match it. Because Take
I
Two Real
do.
Estate, yeah.
And I'm always really touched at the clients that I work with when they see that I want to give back to my community in different ways, that they're willing. And I always ask them, it's no obligation, but it's great to see that people will come out, they'll donate, I match their donations. It's a win-win for everybody. So yeah, that's really inspiring when I see people. It's not just about the transaction, it becomes a more human element to what we do. And that's big.
I love it. Great humans, right? Great humans.
Yep, great
Yeah.
humans.
Tell us about your family.
Okay, my family is a blended family. We are called affectionately the Thistle Bunch. There's my wife and I, and we've got 6 kids between us, ranging anywhere from almost 21 years of age to 10 years. So four boys, 3 girls, college to elementary school. So we run the gamut right now. COVID has made life a bit challenging with education and what we're going to do, but we're kind of getting through it on a daily basis. It's working out well. I've got a brother. We're not too far apart in age. He's out in California. He's doing his real estate thing. And my dad, he lives in Richmond. He's retired. He worked his ass off his entire life. I'm happy for him now that he hasn't been traveling much with COVID, but boy, he's been doing traveling before that. And I know he's looking forward to getting back to doing just the things that he wants to get to in life. He sent me a picture of himself on a camel in front of a pyramid in Egypt a year ago, and I was like, what? I never thought I'd ever see this from my dad, but he's out there living life, and I'm real happy for him.
That's amazing. I find that to be wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
You were telling me earlier about like buying your kids' desks and doing all the get ready for school, and I find it's interesting. Like, it's such a human thing we're all dealing with. My daughter, we just got her desk, so I can relate. What are you currently learning, and hobbies? Like, what are you up to outside of real estate?
Oh, good question. Well, I mean, I learned to wake surf just a little while ago. I watched these guys and girls behind boats on surfboards, and for me, I've tried surfing in the ocean, but behind a boat, it seemed like so much more fun to me. So I learned how to do that recently. I'm constantly trying to tweak what I can do behind a camera to just enhance properties or people or whoever I'm shooting at the moment. Let's see, tennis. My wife and I try to get out and play as much tennis as possible. I've been promising myself I was going to try to learn Spanish, but so far, not so much. We love to travel to Mexico when there's no COVID, so it would be a huge advantage to be able to speak their language and just be able to, embrace that. Because that's something that I would love to embrace. Yeah.
I can relate. We have an Italian au pair, and we've been saying we're going to learn Italian this whole time, and it's just not. Yep, I understand. What sets you apart? What makes you different?
Okay. Well, in my business, at least, when people initially find me, it's typically my commission rate. So I advertise at very low rates. I also advertise a rebate that I give my clients, and that's very helpful. One of the things that I wanted to do very early on in my business is separate myself and say, hey, here's what I will charge, but this is what you will get for this, so that there's no question. I'm a full service agent, but I'm willing to work for less because I want to be doing more business, and I want you to be able to, work with your real estate transaction buyer seller and be able to accomplish more goals with the finances that I'm able to provide. whether that's a lower commission or a rebate. So that's what sets me apart initially. But I would say I also give one-on-one attention. And you and I talked about this. I don't have a big team behind me. Teams are great, but for me, a one-on-one dynamic is what I want to offer my clients so that they know the buck always stops with me and that they're going to get a consistent level of service from start to finish. I make a lot of promises up front to get back to people on time, to make sure that they're completely in the know, that we talk about everything, that they understand the process so that when we get to closing, it's all smiles and hopefully a great review.
I love it. What do you believe has been the largest reason or reasons for your success personally?
I would say I ask a lot of my clients for reviews. So my clients, far beyond anything else, is probably the biggest reason for my success. I wanted to make sure early on that my clients, that I thought of them highly, that I wanted to make sure I did the best possible job for them so that in the end, they wanted to write me a 5-star review. They wanted to talk about me to their friends, to their family. So to this day, I mean, I may not have heard from somebody for years, and that's great. We all have busy lives, but it's fantastic to get a warm referral from somebody that sold a house with me 5 years ago, or they mentioned me in passing, or they text me. I can't even begin to tell you how many texts I get around the holidays or whatever, and they say, hey, just thinking about you, hope you're having a good day. And I might shoot the same thing back to them sometimes. So yeah, I think it's that one-on-one personal attention, and really my clients, I think, are my biggest supporters.
Absolutely. So what is something that you have done that other real producers absolutely should do, other than ask for reviews? Because you do an amazing, I mean, I looked at your reviews. You have great reviews. What's something other real producers absolutely should do?
Well, I'll say it again, ask for reviews. But honestly, it's really look for new avenues to make your business model work, to maybe find new ways of advertising yourself, to go out of your comfort zone and maybe look for clients that you never thought were there. I mean, I think in a certain way we maybe limit ourselves to the markets or our geographical locations, but I think we can be further reaching than we believe ourselves to be. So I would just encourage anybody out there to look for new ways to cultivate business, even if it's uncomfortable, because we all get stuck in a pattern that we think is great and it might be working for us, but if we don't change and adapt to the environment, we're probably not going to be as successful year in and year out. So. And as we get older, the younger crowd is coming up, and they may have their finger on the pulse of things that we haven't thought of. So it's learn from everybody in your industry.
I love it. What would you like to be remembered for, Paul?
Oh, goodness.
Well, favorite.
I mean, yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, really just an honest, hardworking guy who loves his family and his career most days, right? I mean, we all have challenging times, but yeah, I just want to be known for somebody that worked hard, had a lot of, successes and failures, but learned from all those things, and is just loved and who loves his family to death. Yeah. Family is my biggest reason for being here.
Yeah, well, yeah. I really, I appreciate you being with us, Paul. And if you haven't checked out his cover story, make sure that you do. Nova, August issue 2020. Thank you so much, Paul.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good day, everybody.